Alright, so we're back here for part 2. I had my nap, feel a little better now, and switched my hat out. I get a little sweaty doing all this reading, and I didn't want to ruin my good Sunday meeting hat, so we got a different one on that. On the subject of hats, this is a Notch Gear hat. These cool little cutouts on the side here, so when you're wearing your glasses or your sunglasses, it doesn't smash them down on the side of your face. Didn't really notice it with these, but with my other sunglasses, it helps. And if you've watched any of my match videos, this is how I record that. There's fancy little clips and stuff for that, but I just ain't got the budget for that. So a drill and a bolt, you just screw your camera cage right on top of there. Works pretty good. Looks kind of ridiculous, but just matches the rest of the whole outfit, you know? So, back to this. Tell us about the deer. That's not related to the rifle, but I'd love to. I've got a bunch of them up here. I actually got some deer hunting videos that are equally as poorly produced as all of these, so you can check those out if you want. I'm actually working on a little better one now, and deer season's coming up here, so I hope to have something a little nicer this year, because the last 2 years, they were pretty bad, but you can watch them if you want. A couple of these deer show up in there. There's a lot of stories. I don't have time for that now, but maybe someday. I do like the deer hunting. Those are all bow deer. Alright. Questions about the bolt. My bolt on the B14R closes hard when loading around in the chamber. Do you know a way to make it easier? Does a shim kit help with that? In your opinion, how necessary are shim kits? Does it vary from rifle to rifle, or could they all be improved with shims? Do a video on installing bolt shims in the B14R. Can't find one be very helpful. So, a bunch of stuff about bolt shims, and what they're talking about is in between the two pieces of the bolt here, there's a little washer looking thing. It's called a shim, and that sets the spacing between the bolt head and the rest of the bolt body here. And to answer most of these questions, I can't tell you if there's an improvement to be had. I haven't tried it in any of mine. I'd like to someday, but it's kind of down the list of things I need to work on. I haven't had any issues with this. I will say the stiff closing on there, that's fairly common in a brand new rifle. After 500 rounds, you'll notice an improvement. I mean, this has got 7,000-ish rounds through it. A lot better than the factory, from the factory. My other one I have that's had, 1,000 rounds through it. It'll get better with time. Changing out that shim would definitely change that. If it's going to be improvement in your rifle, I can't tell without, that's a rifle by rifle basis, right? So, I want to try it someday, but I haven't got there yet. As far as how to install it, I do have a video about tearing the bolt down, and it'll show you how to get that shim out of there. And, something else cool you may want to do on here. Shims, alright. Love the detailing on the Bergara logo. How was this done? That's on this side of the gun. You guys see it. Let's flip it around. Right here, it says Bergara on the side of your receiver, and mine happens to be yellow on this one. And I got pretty technical with that, and it involved a heat gun from my garage and a random yellow crayon that I found upstairs in the pile of my kids' broken crayons. Heat that receiver up a little bit with the heat gun, crayon melts right in there, wait for it to cool, take a razor blade, you just scrape the extra right off of there. It fills in pretty nice. I know there's all kinds of paints and people have techniques for doing that. I ain't got the patience or the finesse to be putting paint in there. That's what I did. I did that about a year ago. And it's been in the rain and the mud and clean and all kind of stuff, and it looks pretty decent. And if I want to get it out of there, I just take a little nail or something and scrape it out of there. That's what I did. Wondering about the purpose of the tape on the objective of your rifle. I actually get a lot of questions about this. Not many on videos, but when I post pictures, people really hone in on this tape on here, and I'll admit, it looks kind of mall ninja-ish, but it actually serves a purpose, or two purposes for me. One, this is a PRS style rig, and part of that is on shooting off of barricades, steel barricades, rocks, whatever, all kinds of stuff. And if you looked at my chassis up close, it's pretty beat, and that's fine. It's a tool, that's what it's for. Scope, that's a spendy optic, right? I tried to take a little bit of care of it. It's certainly rugged, and I don't mind a little scratch or whatever on it, but the bell of the objective, that's right up close to a lot of barricades, and it gets banged off of there fairly often. So if I can keep that from getting smashed too bad, that's pretty nice. The other thing is it gets really hot here in the summer, and these set out all day in the sun, and when I'm shooting off a barricade or I have a bag underneath of here, I like to use my support hand on top of here. Some people, underneath or up forward or wherever, I like my hand on top of the objective, and that works pretty well for me because then I have a vertical line, my support hand down through the rifle, my bag into the prop right here at the balance point. And this gives me something that's not just blazing hot to grab onto, and gives a little bit of grip to it. So kind of nice to stick your hand on. You can use all kinds of stuff. This is veterinary wrap from our local farm store. It's for horses and whatever. It's self-adhesive bandage kind of stuff, and it just peels right off there. I can replace it. This is getting kind of beat up. Need to do that. Seen people use athletic tape. There's actually some really cool little purpose-made scope cover kind of things for that. Do whatever. That's what I use it for. Again, I'm kind of cheap, so that's what I used. What bipod? Are the bipod feet factory or aftermarket? This is Atlas BT10 with the Area 419 Arca clamp and barricade stop on it. Hawk Hill custom feet on there. Again, there's all kinds of options for bipods. People have their personal preferences. I like these. I'm sure I'd like some other ones too, but again, this is what I found that I could afford when I needed to buy one. They're not real cheap, certainly more expensive ones. I've had no problems at all with this. Adjust the legs, 5 different positions that direction, all the detents that way. With the Arca clamp, I can move it off the spigot all the way down my Arca rail on there. I do like the Hawk Hill feet on here because they do dig into stuff. They're splayed out and got a little tip on there. Health and safety moment for you guys there. These aren't too bad now. They've been on here for a little over a year and have gotten worn just a little bit. When these are new, if you have your bipod feet folded this way, these things will cut you pretty good, so watch out. And I know some people are going to say, oh, you don't fold your bipod feet back that way. You always fold them forward. Well, it doesn't matter, right? They can go either way. They lock in either way. When I'm shooting, I usually like to have them folded back because that gives me either a little bit more rest up here or it shortens the rifle up a little bit and I'm not banging the bipod on stuff in the front. That is if I don't take it off. I typically leave it on there just as a little extra forward weight to balance the rifle out. Have you done anything with the stock trigger to make it better, or do you replace it for competition? So this one has a Timney Calvin Elite Custom on it. Again, I chose that trigger because I got a good deal on it. Actually, I have a couple of them that I've bought from the same guy, and I have no complaints about them. I like this one because it's adjustable all kinds of different directions. I like other triggers too. That just happens to be what I have on here. The carbon fiber rifle, my other one, factory trigger, just back the weight down a little bit. I don't get into messing with triggers on the insides too much. There's too many little tiny parts and pieces and all that. So if you want an improvement, factory trigger I think is pretty decent as far as factory triggers go. But any Remington 700 action trigger will fit. Be aware on the trigger pins on there, they are stepped, so you can't drive them all the way. I mean, it'll look like they're not driven all the way in. They only go in one way and out one way. They'll stick out just a little bit. They don't go all the way through, so don't freak out about it. That's the way they're supposed to be. Swap it out if you want. Factory trigger's pretty decent. I'm getting Bergara soon. Do you have any problems running a cam? What's your cleaning schedule? So, suppressor, silencer, whatever you want to call it here in the US, a moderator for you overseas folks. This is a Form 1 build can. Again, I'm cheap, so I got one on sale that came with the aluminum internals, ran it for a year. It was a lot of fun. Cleaning is the problem though. This thing will get fouled up within a couple of 100 rounds, enough that I notice its changing point of impact, and I gotta tear it apart and clean it out. I don't mind cleaning it too much, but the fact that I had to do it so often really added another variable that I had to worry about, and I decided the cool factor wasn't worth it. Certainly a lot of fun to play with. I can thread it on whenever I want to, but I've taken it off for competition because the benefit, the coolness factor didn't outweigh the uncertainty of, do I have impact shifts because of my can acting up? Do I need to clean it right now? And to be honest, a couple 100 rounds, that's a match and just a tiny bit of practice. So I was cleaning this thing once a month, and it just wasn't worth it. How much better is the Bergara compared to the Ruger Precision Rimfire? I had that one before. Now I'm on the Bergara. They're different rifles, right? Different budgets, a little bit different markets. They are what they are. I greatly prefer this over the Ruger Precision Rimfire for what I do with it. Precision Rimfire, in my experience, was a little picky. I had to be a little bit more careful with it, and I just wasn't getting the consistency out of it that I needed to. For a lot of people, be just perfectly fine. But I made the move, and they're kind of, apples and cucumbers, I guess. What about the camera mount? This guy up on the front here, that's a custom built thing there. Again, I'm cheap, so old clamp of some sort goes on the night vision bridge, piece of aluminum, GoPro mount screwed on there. Cost nothing, built it in 10 minutes and it looks like it, but it works, right? Goes right on the night vision bridge. Yeah, it's kind of neat if you want a backwards view. See what people are doing behind you. What bags are you running? Again, not a rifle specific question, but I like the Webads here. This is a Webad WC Max, so kind of a big boy with the standard fill. You can get this in heavy, but boy, it weighs a pile. And then this is a Webad Puppy with heavy fill. So yeah, fair amount smaller than the Max. I use this probably 80% of the time. Really love it. Rifle sets right in it really nice. You can run it however you want, just fine. This works really well for a rear bag if I'm needing something heavy that doesn't move around. I find a lot of times it's maybe a little small for some barricades. Works really well on a pipe, but have it as an option if I need it. Good stuff. Oh, they have cool t-shirts too. And this is the last question. And this is one I don't like people to ask me in public, and that's, how much would you say the cost for the rifle and the stock? And my wife is right up there, so we're not going to talk about it. You guys can figure it out, right? You know the MSRP on a rifle or a barreled action. You can go shop around for whatever chassis you want, stick them together, get a decent optic. Yeah, it adds up really quick. I will say there's a lot of good used pieces out there. On this rifle, I've saved a pile of money by buying a second-hand chassis, second-hand trigger. A lot of pieces came off of other rifles. You get sticker shock if you add it all up. So don't do that. It's a hobby. It's something you love. Save your money. Work toward what you want. Don't add it up, because it'll give you some anxiety. So we actually made it through our entire list. So thanks for watching, and thanks for asking questions, because I kind of like talking about this stuff. Keep asking them. I'll keep answering them, and maybe we can have some more of these videos. And if you'd like and subscribe, that's really nice. But more importantly, get out shooting, take some kids out, stay safe. Thanks again.